Hello friends, I Dr. Sarika Panwar welcome you all for the video lectures of machine learning. Today's topic of discussion is K nearest neighbor. What is K nearest neighbor? As the name suggests, we find the K number of nearest neighbor of the test data point. So K nearest neighbor is one of the simplest machine learning algorithm that is based on the supervised learning. It is really a very simple algorithm. In KNN, it assumes that there is a similarity between the new case and the test data point, and we put the new case into the category that is most suitable to the available. So here, with the help of this diagram, then if we try to understand, then this black image, it is the new data point which we have to either classify into cat category or dog category. So first what we do, we try to find the nearest neighbors of this test data point. How many nearest neighbors are there? There are 5 nearest neighbor in this case. So this 5 is nothing but k. So this k we can decide. It can be any odd number. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4. Generally it is more than 2. So if we decide that we have to find total k number of nearest neighbors and k is suppose 5, then we find the 5 nearest neighbors of this test data point, and we categorize the new data point into the category wherein there are more neighbors to that particular category. Depending on the neighbors, we classify this particular data point into either cat category or dog category. But the question is how to find the nearest neighbor. So there is one mathematical approach for finding the nearest neighbor. So it is nothing but the distance calculation. So we can use either Euclidean distance calculation method or Manhattan distance calculation method. So if we see the Euclidean distance method, then here we know that for finding the distance between these two data points x1 y1 and x2 y2, we can use the Euclidean distance method, and that is nothing but x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square and under root of this whole value. So that will give you the Euclidean distance. We can find the Manhattan distance method also. So in Manhattan distance, how we calculate the distance between these two data points having the coordinate values x1 y1 and x2 y2, it is mod of x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1. This is how we can find this distance d between these two data points for finding the nearest neighbor. Once we find the nearest neighbors, then next task is to categorize a particular data point into either of these two categories. Now in this diagram we can observe that there are two classes, yellow class and green class. Now our task is to categorize this test data point, that is the white data point, to either of these two categories. If we decide on the value of k is equal to 5, then we have to find the 5 neighbors, nearest neighbors, and those nearest neighbors we will calculate based on either Euclidean distance method or Manhattan distance method. Once we find the nearest neighbor, then what we can observe here that 3 data points belongs to the yellow category and 2 data points belongs to the green category. Out of these 5, 3 belongs to the yellow category, so we will assign the class as yellow. We will assign the class to this test data point as yellow. KNN can be used for classification as well as regression task. We know that in regression task there are continuous values of the output. So our task in regression is to assign a particular value to this test data point. So now here in this case, these yellow data points may have any continuous value like 11.1, 11.2. It may take any value, it depends on the application. So if we want to assign a particular value to this test data point, It means that we are trying to predict the value of this test data point. So how it is calculated? We find the mean of all these 5 nearest neighbors, and that mean value will be given to this new data point. This is how KNN can be used in regression. How to choose the value of k? That is the next question. So if consider that there are n number of data points, total data points, then we can find the square root of that n, and approximately that odd value we can consider as value of k. Generally, odd value of k is selected to avoid the confusion of the data, and higher value of k has least chances of an error. We can summarize now KNN. K nearest neighbor. It classifies the data points based on how its neighbors are classified, and the data must be free of outliers. KNN algorithm can be used for regression problem, but it is mostly used for classification problem. Always choose an odd value of k. That is the summary of k nearest neighbor. If you like the content of the video, then please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.